15th of August. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So, the first thing that caught my eye when I was looking through stuff this morning was an interesting article on the Hacker News about a new remote access Trojan known as QuixRat, QWIXXRAT, that is, it is being distributed via Telegram and Discord. It is one of these um, sorry, not ransomware, remote access as a service kind of things. You can pay for it weekly for 150 rubles, or you get 500 rubles for lifetime license. Nice to see that attackers have got commercial offers for these things. Anyway, it's a remote access Trojan that is designed to harvest web browser histories, bookmarks, cookies, credit card information, keystrokes, screenshots, and files matching certain extensions, data from apps like Steam and Telegram. So, fairly broad in what it's trying to do. It's written in C sharp, I think it's written in C anyway, one form or another of C, and it has got built-in anti-analysis or covert actions built into the system. So it will do things like it's got delays between being installed, invoked, and actually starting up. It um, looks to see if it's running in a sandbox or virtual environment, and it also looks for certain processes: Task Manager, Process Hacker, Netstat, Netmon, TCP/View, or Wireshark. And if it detects any of those, it halts its own activity until that process is terminated, which is actually, I think, quite a smart way to avoid the network traffic being captured if you're looking at it from the point of view of the device. So it is controlled via a C2 server run as a Telegram bot. And commands can then be sent out to collect additional data, such as audio and webcam recordings, remotely shut down, restart the infected host, so on and so forth. So basically, full full access. So I recommend you have a read of the article. I think there are, in fact, some indicators of things to look for there, and a good flow diagram of what talks to what and how these things get how this particular bot functions. So interesting read. Recommend you have a little look at that one. So threat actors have started to use beta apps, they probably have done it for a long time, but it has become more noticeable that they're using beta apps to attempt to bypass mobile app store security. So most of the major mobile app stores, Apple and Google Android, have a facility for developers to release beta apps. Now, the idea being that if you as a user sign up to receive beta updates, that you assist the developer with finding bugs, testing functionality, making suggestions, generally being good people and making the apps better. However, it is possible that the security checks that beta apps go through are less stringent than the security checks that production apps go through, and writers of malware are looking to exploit this. Now, okay, so it does limit their attack landscape somewhat, only to people who will install beta code. And it is also unclear exactly how much more relaxed the security checking is. Certainly, Google have subsequently said after the article, bleeping computer article, they subsequently said that the beta testing, anything that's in open beta testing and publicly available on the Google Play Store, goes through the same review process as apps that are in production. So there should be no difference there. But I think it's just something that you should be aware of. There's been no comment from Apple, but going back quite a while, Sophos, I think, documented first of all in March 2022 that scammers were abusing Apple's test flight system, which is a platform created to help developers distribute beta apps for testing in iOS. So definitely one to keep an eye on if you are involved in testing beta apps for developers. Good on you, but make sure that the ones that you're testing actually are genuinely the ones that you accept, and that you're not being railroaded into downloading fantastic sounding apps that the usual sort of stuff, cryptocurrency investments, download this app immediately, we've got early access to something, it's only beta, but wow, by the time it goes live you'll have missed out, the usual sort of stuff. So yeah, watch out for that one. Beta apps may be a new means of distributing malware. And then finally, from me, so we are all aware of the fact that there is a lot of cyber espionage that comes out of certain parts of the world. So I think it would be perfectly reasonable to suggest that China and Russia and North Korea and maybe Iran and a few other places have, at least allegedly, very highly developed state-sponsored programs of cyber espionage. One that we don't often not only our adversaries that do this sort of stuff. So the Chinese have discovered a sophisticated backdoor in some seismology software. So basically, the software used to detect earthquakes. Now, interestingly, the report comes from the Wuhan Municipal Emergency Management Bureau. Wuhan? Have we heard of? I think we might have heard of Wuhan's been in the news, hasn't it? But, yeah. So it discovered that some of its earthquake monitoring equipment had, as they say, been attacked by a foreign power. They are blaming the US, and they say that the malware that they have found, the backdoors that they found on these devices, is sophisticated and fits the characteristics of US surveillance agencies. Well, it will be interesting to see. They haven't done anything other than release a statement saying we blame the US, so there's no details available at the moment. But there is potentially some truth in it, and it will be interesting to see if they do release any further information, what sort of stuff our own side is up to. Yeah, whilst I think we would all prefer to be living in a free democratic country, we do have to be cognizant of the fact that our own governments don't always play nicely by the rules, even with their own citizens. So sometimes when these things are found out, it's not a bad thing. And one of the reasons why seismology is of interest is, of course, that forensic seismology is used, or has been used for a very long time, to detect nuclear weapons tests. So it is it is difficult for nations to understand when other nations are, um, have nuclear capabilities. The tests, of course, you don't know if it's going to work until you've tested it, and it's not the sort of thing that you're going to test out live. So, potentially tests are carried out. I think that most tests are supposed to have been banned, but they would definitely be underground tests, because otherwise you're immediately going to get picked up by satellite surveillance. So forensic seismology is one method by which security forces across the world monitor each other for potential nuclear tests. So I think that's probably why this particular set of devices have been targeted. But anyway, so that's an interesting one. Let's see what the Chinese come up with. They are threatening to imminently expose the US spying scheme based around this, and are claiming America is a hacker empire. Yes, pots and kettles. That is all from me for today. So hopefully this is recorded properly, because I've just popped back to the restream screen and it's got errors on it, but never mind. Hopefully this is all okay. Hopefully you have learned something from this. I certainly have from doing the research, and I hope you have a good day, and I hope to speak to you all again tomorrow morning.